Radical mentoring is the best thing that we have done at LifePark because it is helping us make more mature followers of Christ. Well, my name is Chad Moore, and I'm the pastor at LifePark Church in Charleston, South Carolina. And we planted the church in 2010 with about 200 people on our core team. And the Lord has really been gracious, and we've grown very rapidly to about 1,600 people. And I'm excited to talk about radical mentoring because radical mentoring was an answer for us that we desperately needed in such growth. About 3 years into the LifePark growth, I had a revelation on a Friday morning. I was leading a Friday morning group, and this is our primary vehicle to make mature followers of Christ. And after that Friday morning group, I just felt burdened because the guys really weren't prepared. I was looking at the attendance rate, and guys had been attending about 50% of the time. The retention was not as strong as it needed to be, and I was just burdened. I said, if this is the primary venue of how we're going to make mature followers of Christ, we're in trouble. And it was about that same time that the guy, Ray Snyder, said, why don't you try this radical mentoring? I said, let me gather up a few guys and do it. And so I walked through last year my first radical mentoring group, and I have to say that it's the best thing that we have done at LifePark in our 5 years. The mentors I have seen take ownership of their faith in growing more. So they, through the preparations of teaching, have actually internalized the truths. And so they've grown more spiritually through the truths of the Scriptures, but also I have seen them begin to invest their lives in men and see them make a difference because of their investment in other people. So it's raised the value of truth in their lives, and it's also raised the value of relationships. I see radical mentoring as being a core process to develop leaders. For instance, the first 3 years before we had radical mentoring, someone may have been in a group a year and a half or 2 years, and they may have read 2 or 3 books or gone through 2 or 3 studies. What radical mentoring does is it gives you the opportunity over a 9-month period of time to read 9 books. So think about the multiplication. We've now had almost 200 people to go through 9 months of study, memorizing Scripture, hearing stories, being vulnerable, reading books. You multiply that over 200 people, plus them getting 6 or 8 mentees. This 5-10 year period of time, we could have 1,000 adults that have been through 9 months of theological study with books as well as practical application. It gives people tools and challenge to be lifelong disciple makers. Because mentees have gone through this, they have a proven tool, a battle-tested tool, so they have confidence to go gather their few men and then to reproduce disciples through their leadership. So it's not just a 9-month study and you're done. It is a lifelong disciple-making process that people can reproduce in confidence to make more mature followers of Christ. Radical mentoring reminds me of the authentic life of Jesus. He came to the earth, He grabbed up 12 disciples, and He literally was with them. He embodied truth, He embodied relationships, He embodied love to them and for them. And I think that's what mentors do. The mentees are able to look at an older, more experienced leader who's walking with Christ and see the joy, see the peace, be able to confront and speak the truth in love, and then turn right around and be there for them as their greatest champion for what God's doing in their life. And so I think the embodiment of seeing that leader walk with God, have peace, have joy, stand on scriptural truths, go through hardships with a steadiness is one of the greatest transfers to that mentee of what the real Christian looks like and also what works in real life.